Out wide is the Giant Bolster as they turn in. And they're off. They race for the Betfred Cheltenham Gold Cup of 2014. They have 22 fences ahead of them. Nakarabo on the inside with On His Own and T for 3 at the first trio as they go over the first fence, followed by Cloudy 2 to the outside. He was out-jumped by Last Instalment at the moment. At the back of the field is Lord Windermere together with Triolo Delane as they go towards fence number 2. Nakarabo jumps that one big and bold. Just a little low over that fence was Bobsworth, but it certainly wasn't a serious error as now they make a long run up the hill towards fence number 3. And it is Nakarabo and Jan Faltuszek out in front. Leads now by nearly 2 lengths to T for 3 racing in second. On His Own in the beige and black on the inside in third. Last Instalment is in fourth. And then Lyrene Legend, who's racing alongside Silviniano Conti, who's against the inside rail. Next is Cloudy 2, Bobsworth, the Giant Bolster, and then Oublon des Obeaux and his stablemate Katenko, Triolo Delane towards the inside as they get over fence number 3, at which Lord Windermere was the back marker, and they're all safe. Continuing on now towards fence number 4, and as they do so, it is now On His Own who's come through to take the lead in the hands of David Casey as they go over the water jump, and led there by about 3 parts of a length, and they're all safely over. Lord Windermere just slightly detached to the rear of the field and was just nudged away from that fence by Davy Russell as they go now towards the first of the open ditches. On His Own, joined by T for 3. Once again, Bobsworth just trailed his hind legs through that fence, but again, it wasn't a serious error at all as they line up now towards the next plain one. This is the 6th. The leader will be On His Own. It's T for 3. A mistake there by Lyrene Legend, who just parted the birch, and again just niggled away from that fence Lord Windermere, who surrendered about 4 or 5 lengths the main body of the field. At the back of the main body is Triolo Delane, unhurried in the hands of AP McCoy. Another open ditch for On His Own, Last Instalment and T for 3 betwixt those two. And then Cloudy 2 making ground towards the outside of Nakarabo, now in 4th and 5th. Lyrene Legend is in 6th. Oublon des Obeaux to the outside, getting closer in 7th, followed on the inside by Silviniano Conti as they crossed over the next. And Bobsworth again was just nudged away from that fence, and on the inside Silviniano Conti was also just ridden away from the fence for a stride or 2 by Noel Feely. So making a slight sweep downhill now on towards this next plain fence. This will be fence number 9. It's at the top of the hill. On His Own was out jumped there by on the outside Last Instalment, who did just peck slightly on landing but jumps it well enough. Now dropping towards the tail of the field is the Giant Bolster, and he's just been niggled along by Tom Scudamore in those red and white checks for a few strides as they make the run now on towards fence number 10. This will be 3 out in a circuit's time. Cloudy 2 making ground upon the outside with Last Instalment, T for 3, and On His Own towards the inner. Very wide. He's been taken wide throughout by Liam Treadwell. It's Oublon des Obeaux. Then Bobsworth, who's getting closer alongside Lyrene Legend, and on the inside Nakarabo. Then taken off the rail. He was right on the inside early. Silviniano Conti is taken a little wider now by Noel Feely. He's been followed by the Giant Bolster. Out wide is Katenko. On the inside is Triolo Delane, and still at the back of the field is Lord Windermere. All 13 have safely completed the first circuit. On now towards fence number 11 they go, and it was On His Own who led Last Instalment over in second place. At the back of the field, the Giant Bolster is more vigorously ridden now by Tom Scudamore as they go on towards fence number 12. And as they come to it, it will be T for 3 and On His Own, and between them Last Instalment. And those were the first 3, followed by Lyrene Legend on the inside in 4th and Cloudy 2 in 5th. Silviniano Conti is in 6th, on the inside Nakarabo in 7th. In 8th on the outside Oublon des Obeaux. In 9th is Bobsworth, the reigning champion, with on his outside Katenko, and then creeping into contention is Triolo Delane in the yellow colours for AP McCoy. Then being niggled along, not travelling through the last half mile, is the Giant Bolster, and still last as they head out into the country is Lord Windermere. So they're through halfway in the Betfred Cheltenham Gold Cup of 2014, and it will be T for 3 and On His Own, the first 2 over that fence, followed then by Last Instalment. A reminder there for Katenko, who's ridden along. So to his stablemate Oublon des Obeaux, who's still taken wide as they go on towards another water jump, fence number 14. Over this one they go. On His Own, T for 3, Last Instalment, the first trio, followed then by Lyrene Legend and Silviniano Conti in the red and pink. Cloudy 2 is still there on the outside. That leading group followed by Oublon des Obeaux as they crossed over that open ditch. Bobsworth is alongside stablemate Triolo Triolo Delane as they go now on towards the next, which will be fence number 16. On his own on the inside, booted into it. Tifa 3 jumped out away to his right over that fence. Silviniano Conti is there between them. Cloudy 2, followed out wide now by Oublon des Obeaux. Lyrene Legend towards the inside, followed by Bobsworth, who's now beginning to make good headway. Last Instalment has lost his place as they got over the ditch, and Last Instalment has gone. He's unseated his rider just when he was backpedaling at the time. So now they make the run towards the top of the hill, and they go now on towards the 5th from home in the Gold Cup, and it's on his own and Tifa 3, Oublon des Obeaux, Silviniano Conti between horses. Lyrene Legend is right there on the inside, and Barry Geraghty all the while is creeping ever closer on Bobsworth as they make the run slightly downhill towards the 4th last. Silviniano Conti moves up now on the outside of On His Own, once again booted into that fence. Lyrene Legend on the inside was over in 3rd. Now Bobsworth is ridden along in 5th position. He's just in behind Tifa 3. Cloudy 2 begins to beat a retreat as Triolo Delane tries to make ground on the inside of the Giant Bolster, who's also now trying to rally to the cause. They race down towards the 3rd from home, and as they do so, Silviniano Conti more fluent there than on the inside On His Own, and then Lyrene Legend and Bobsworth, who's now being driven along back in 4th. Tifa 3, Triolo Delane, followed by the Giant Bolster, and then Lord Windermere, who's never been closer than he is now. They make the final turn in the Gold Cup. Silviniano Conti has got the lead. Bobsworth on the outside. Lyrene Legend cutting to the inside. On His Own is still there. The Giant Bolster is staying on. Triolo Delane as well as they're over the 2nd last, and it's Silviniano Conti who has the lead. Drifts across in front of Bobsworth, and now cuts to his inside. Still Lord Windermere continues to stay on as they come towards the 22nd and final fence. Silviniano Conti had the lead over Bobsworth in 2nd. Lord Windermere, the Giant Bolster on the near side. On His Own begins to rally. It's Lord Windermere who now takes the lead with On His Own rallying to the near side, racing up towards the line. Lord Windermere ahead in front, and Lord Windermere has won the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Lord Windermere wins for Jim Culloty. In 2nd place was On His Own, and they pulled a couple of lengths clear of the Giant Bolster, Silviniano Conti, Bobsworth and Lyrene Legend in a bunch finish for the Gold Cup. That went to Ireland, to Lord Windermere, Jim Culloty and Davy Russell.
Photo finish, photo!